Hello, everybody. If you are just joining us, we are back. You've missed the entirety of this match, which is a bit upsetting. I'll be brutally honest. But yeah, as you can see right now, unfolding in front of you, it is a 4K one. That was honestly one of the longest games that I think we have actually seen and been a part of. There is no delay. I will need some gameplay here. Beautiful. Yeah, but yeah, that's going to be 2 out. I believe that is 9 stage 3 fresh first mark, if I'm not mistaken, which is quite a good result for Unknown, all things considered. I don't know, maybe you want to give the people a recap of what actually happened.
Yeah, so for those of you joining us, welcome. I'm Sir Monk. And it's unfortunate we did miss most of that game because it was a really good game from our Unknown player and our Survivor players. They were put in a lot of pinches. Unknown hit some really crazy shots. There were quite a few shots that Unknown made from all the way across the map. There was a point in the game where we're going for our tunnel. It was Claudette, and we're trying to take hits for them. We buggle up a hit, take at Shack. We throw the Shack pallet with no stun. Unknown ends up on the right side of the Shack pallet somehow, and he slugs someone. Then he goes to chase his tunnel out down. Meg rotates over to get a pickup from someone who was slugged, who went for the unhook onto the tunnel out, and then he shot from Shack all the way over to like 9 or 3 or some bullshit, and then got the injure as well as a tag of UVX, which was pretty insane. And he just showed that he was really confident with the Unknown. And just a generally impressive display, all things considered. But the survivors also locked in real hard in the 3v1 there, played around what was a gen spread. I think it was Shack 9 and 12, or Shack 3 and 12, something along those lines. We had a hook within that little triangle there, right in the middle of 9, 3, and 12. Sorry, Shack 3 and 12. And we were able to get the unhook out. We were able to get resets in at appropriate times. We were able to take tags, use our exhaustions to go back down towards the 6 side of the map and get resets there. You saw just caught on the end there that due to that we were able to get 2 out. We were able to secure the fresh hook onto Jake, I believe. So I'm pretty sure it was a 10 hook 4 fresh result, which is a great result, all things considered, for an Unknown on Wrecker's Yard. You would expect maybe 6 or 7 stages for the Unknown there. If I see any 6-7 jokes in the chat, I quit. And yeah, just overall, a really impressive result from both sides there. It was genuinely a very, very solid match. But we're going to be waiting in the lobby now for the second half of the Unknown set, which will be Aether's Killer. Is it Ancestor? Yeah, sorry, Ancestor's Killer, not Aether. Ancestor's Killer playing for their side of the Unknown match, which will be they will have to get 11 stages in order to win here, or else the win will go towards Phantom Step. But overall, good start to the night. Outside of the technical difficulties, the actual match quality has been really good jumps. It's a shame you guys weren't able to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were great matches. It's very unfortunate that they missed that Survivor set from Ancestor. They've been scrimming quite a lot, but I believe it was 8 stages 3 fresh. So that's what the result is.
Was it
8
A3?
stages, yeah, 8-3 is what we're gonna be dealing with here.
Oh, I thought he
And
was Jake. I guess he didn't. I guess Jake got out fresh.
yeah, we did get one fresh out the door with the 2 hook Survivor out as well. So yeah.
I thought Jake was last hook. I didn't catch it.
You're all good, my young chud. But yeah, either way, I think this next match will still live up to the hype because you still got the result to work with. It's 8 stage 3 fresh. But it is devastating. It is very devastating. YouTube just has so many issues that really, I think have been solved behind the scenes now. But honestly, my God, YouTube is not helpful. But yeah, so Smart overall, like I said, the game was good. I did want to, when we load into this next match, just have you evaluate what you see before your eyes. Because when I saw it in the DMs, in the build checks, I was thinking that you might get a bit uppity. Nothing special, nothing crazy, but definitely something different that strays from the meta, Bulla.
I was AFK for maybe 20 seconds. I'm really sorry. I just had to go kick my dog outside so she didn't bark. What was I being rage baited?
You kind of were being rage baited. I was just saying, yeah, a little bit. I was saying when we load into this next match, I will have you evaluate if you do please. The build, like I said, we were saying before. I do think you will get a bit uppity, as I said, in a good way. Nothing extraordinary out of the works, but it's something different, and I'm hoping to catch your views, first reactions live, I guess, because it is. I don't. One thing I will say, I don't think Phantom Steps Killer you really utilized he didn't. Let me just make it known he didn't need to. I don't think he really utilized all the the lengths of the balancing to its fullest extent. Kind of went more traditional. Don't blame him. Why would you not? He obviously gets the job done, but it gives the room to be less traditional, bro. And I guess that's what I wanted to emphasize to you.
Pardon me. Yeah, like I know that the Div 2 balancing, a lot of liberties were taken, a lot of interesting things were let in, and interesting maps were used, maybe. I know that in the next set for Lich, we're going to be seeing on Grim Pantry. I know DBDL does this, and we did have a conversation within the balancing team about Lich's maps for Div 1. I'm personally of the opinion that Grim Pantry is abysmal dog shit, and the only reason he's on it is for the elevation differences with skeletons, because it's all very hilly, and the main building has multiple floors. There's a lot of opportunities for surface level skulls, basically. And I understand that. I just think that's the only redeeming quality of the map, and everything else about it is abysmal dog shit. And he could be put on more sensible maps, like maybe DDS, for example, if we were to talk about more sensible maps. But yeah, Unknown Wrecker's Yard's also another one of those maps where I'm like, I don't really like him on Wreckers, because it's a bit difficult for him in a lot of ways, especially around the sort of, what would you say, those car loops, I guess you could say. But you don't really have a lot of opportunities to use your UVX to its fullest potential, because you don't have a lot of walls to bounce it off. You kind of can do it off the car pallet, sort of like within the pallet, but there are situations where you do have nothing to work with for your power, and it just sort of falls flat, which is a shame. Which is why I prefer maps like Cult Tower, where there are less of those sort of tiles, whereas it's more abundant on Wreckers, I suppose. But seeing what we just saw that Unknown do on Wreckers Yard that you guys unfortunately didn't catch, maybe I'm just bad. Maybe I'm just washed. I don't know. I'm just lost at Unknown, which is very plausible.
No, the map is definitely unironically stronger these days for survival. I will give you that. I think, and I think Unknown is a very iffy killer. It seems there's a very mixed opinion. Some people are of the belief that he's very strong, and some people are of the belief that he's a very trash killer.
The harmless.
Well, I'm sort of in the middle. I think the majority would say he's more on the shit end than more, a suffice killer. I wouldn't say he's a terrible killer. That's a bit,
He's not.
going.
He's not terrible.
No, there are a lot of worse killers. I would agree. I would definitely agree with that statement. Um, yeah, you're right though. Wrecker's Yard still might be a bit of an uphill battle for him. Again, that's why the revision of the perks from Division 1 to Division 2 was such a delicate process. At least for me in particular. I wanted to personally get it right. We wanted to get it right. Me, like my driving passion personally was to get it, to provide the best, and it was to get it right. But overall, of course, we just want to provide the best showcase of gameplay. Of course, that's what it always comes down to. And no, I definitely think the balancing does assist both sides of the play here, no matter what role you take up, which I don't think you can really say has been the case for many balancings, at least from my recollection. It's usually been at least one sided or the other, like usually, even if it's not intended. No, but I don't want to give myself grace. I definitely think I hit a nice medium, or we hit a nice medium. I apologize for the balancing. I really do. But you have to wait and see, I guess, Buller. Honestly,
Yeah.
you have to wait and see.
Because like Blight Suffo, I've personally never seen Blight Suffo on OCE. It just seems a bit, I mean, I'm not a Blight enjoyer myself. I just think Blight sets are a bit dull in general, but people seem to like them. And Blight Suffo, I thought was like, oh, it's a choke map on Blight. That's a bit interesting, isn't it? But I don't know how has that been working out. Would you say? Would you say that Blight Suffo is a good choice, or was that like a bit of a miss?
Philosopher is really traditional. It's kind of beautiful to fall back on. The only reason it's like not. First, to answer your question, I think it's been good. I think it's been well. I think teams have responded to it well. And I think the newer teams have obviously like it's suffocation, so they have leniency. It's not a hard map to learn. First thing you do when you get into DBD competitive, at least, is should be 1v1ing or looking for scrims, one or the other. So if you opt to take the 1v1, usually you start on a trapper or anything, you know, and Suffocation Pit usually is a common map in monks 1v1s. Not common amongst 1v1s, but Trapper, of course, very common. So there's a lot of room, bro, to work with, but no, overall, I don't want to take away from the game we have now, Bulla. We'll load in. Please give me your entire thoughts on everything we have here, at least on the killer side, please, Bulla.
Pot Painter's Agitation. Is that an iridescent fucking add-on? Are you insane? Okay. We have the what the fuck is this add-on called again? Alone in the Dark. I'm looking at it. I'm fucking looking at it. It's Alone in the Dark. The add-on where everyone starts infected, which is very, very interesting. We also have someone already injured there. I think that was from a cross-map UVX, so we're going to be getting a very early down thanks to the Iridescent add-on, providing us with that early tag. We don't need to be mucked around with any UVX missteps. We get a Painter straight out there. We have Pop ready to go here. We also do have Agitation on Wrecker's Yard is really strong. We're able to drag wherever the hell we want on this map with Agitation. Like, if someone dies even remotely outside of the edge map, we can just throw them in the basement and call it a day. We also have people already. We're just doubling just. We're trying to play it more traditionally, but it's hard to work around because we have an iridescent add-on available to us, which is unknown's strongest add-on. We nearly did, I think, just plop two gamers in the head there with the cross map, but we get a very early pull there onto Claudette. This is already on track to be a very good result for our killer play here. Unfortunately, not able to get that in UVX tag onto Claudette, as she did run past the pallet and we weren't just hiding in it. But we're still trying to play around this pallet, but we're re-wrapping around towards the window side, just trying to play around the unknown a little bit. We're keeping an eye on it. We just ran out of BT here. We take that fast vault there, but unfortunately, we don't really have anything to work with here in terms of our chase. This is one of the worst person that you want to get chased out. Unfortunately, missing the UVX tag once again, ducking back in. Claire's having a field day out this one window. They're just using every bit of it. Unfortunately, getting mind game there, and there'll be another down as the first gen gets done in the background. And no one's come in. Steve hasn't stuck around to try and cleanse his UVX. And with this Agitation, we should just be able to drag it down mid-map, but I think we're just opting to slap her right on the same hook. If I was just on her, I'd probably be trying to drag her towards the active so we can play a bit more aggressively. But let's see if we get any more value out of it. Here we are, and we do! A nice tag with Ace Visconti there. Going for that. Pop goes whiz onto Shaq there, probably checking our loggers, and then rotating back to the hook. And we're just off to the races immediately thanks to that insane add-on. I can't believe you did that. I didn't know you did that.
Oh, do that again! It is showing its strength right now. Now, you did, I do want to say, you did say one thing. You did say it's the strongest setup. Now, you would know better than me. Now, I would like, for the sake of argument, argue with you, I guess you could say. Debate is probably a better terminology. I would disagree. As someone who doesn't really enjoy the unknown, doesn't play the unknown, I would disagree. Again, your opinion was definitely more valuable than mine. You've been caught out of position, bloke. We've seen two blokes caught out of position. No, they're gonna sue me for allowing it now. They're gonna sue me, Bulla. Oh no. I definitely think the add-on it is showing its true colors here, but the losing the one hallucination is a big part of it, and we do get tapped hovering out there. No, Smunk. There's been so many things going on in this game right now. That's gonna be another. We've seen 8 for 8, son. This guy is just tapped in, boy. 4K4 on the unknown. On the unknown, maybe.
You're sitting there trying to convince me that, oh well, it has a weakness. You get one less hallucination, but it doesn't matter when you just start the match with the largest snowball known to man on your shoulders. And we are going to be able to pick up our slugs here in the background there, but Era's going to be trying to put a stop to it. He does miss the UVX onto the already pre-infected survivor, but he re-infects Steve Harrington there, goes for the world's cheekiest swing I've ever seen. And if he's able to keep up this momentum, it's going to be a very clean 4K, but we're going to be living away here. If we're able to get a little tag there, but no, we go right to the right, dodge the UVX. We're seeing another pickup in the background. Everyone's back in the game, but we are all injured. But we've also lost our tunnel out. Maybe our greed was too great. Our gluttony too strong, and the weight of our sins will crush us, as we are going to be able to get a bunch of resets done and lose our tunnel out.
And right on cue, big muscles. We do get swung through the pallet there. No, the tunnel out. We're just picking. Maybe we didn't need the Claudette running off, flipping away in the distance. Why have we doubled back for the pallet save blow? Just send it away, my boy. Holy moly, no. On a serious note, after that little bit of chaotic no, okay, so the thought process, low key. Oh, that is a nice little shot over the thing there. The map. As we were saying before, it is probably better than it has ever been, and I do genuinely believe that. And low key, it is kind of a balancing in terms. Sorry, no, it's kind of a balancing effect in terms of letting it even itself out, if that makes sense. Because really early game unknown tags to 50 downs. Now, you saw in this game that was the complete opposite. Now, regardless of if we brought the add-on in or not, I still think it would have been pretty chaotic from this point on. To be honest with you, bro.
I just don't think so, because you got to keep in mind all those injuries that happened at the start of the game. There would have been injuries. There would have just been infections, and he would have been able to just cleanse the infection by following the unknown around after the fact, or whatever have you. And you could make an argument and say, oh, maybe the survivors didn't play around the infection too well. They didn't go out of their way to cleanse the infection and play around the iridescent add-on, because they would have known off the rip that hey, this unknown has an iridescent add-on that allows us all to start infected. Let's go find him and get rid of our infections and then get on gens. But I just still think the add-on in competitive is a bit too strong, because out the gate you start with a very strong start. You find someone, you don't have to worry about getting that infection and then getting your tag. If they're already infected, you can sneak up on them, catch them off guard, get that free tag. And it's such a powerful effect. And especially if you do get that tag immediately, you can then, refreshes the infection cooldown by 6 seconds, so then you can get another follow-up and you don't need to, dick around with getting that first infection. And it also doesn't give survivors any wiggle room where when they're taking that burst chase and they're, the unknown pulls out the power, they can go, okay, do I just eat the infection to put myself in a better position so I don't get mind gamed and get M1? Or do I dodge this? It puts them in a lose-lose situation. We're doing gens next to active hallucinations, which is a very interesting choice for this company. And we do still have our obscure game cartridge available to us, so I was going to make a quick work of those pallets there. Unfortunately, the skip onto the pallet was very nice to see, but Ace did not try to utilize that pallet at all, forcing Nia to rotate towards the Shag pallet. And this is looking like a very clean 4K for our killer error here. But unfortunately, again, missing another UVX. And this is why I was talking about, not really liking these tiles, because playing around them as unknown is very difficult. Like, what do you do here? Like, oh, try and bounce it off a tire, but it's too tall. But he can just stare at you over you all the time, and then just get an M1, I guess, Lumora, and try and rotate elsewhere. It's a very tough map to play around. I feel like I've been mentally banged by the area out of. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
I'm sorry for that, but I'm sorry.
It's so strong. I mean, it is his best add-on.
No, you definitely have a great case. Like you said, you would know a lot better than I would. Unknown is a kill that I'm terrible at. I don't know how this bloke's winning some egregious 50s here. What has happened here? He's just chasing it away. And low-key, he's kind of recovered his teammates a little bit here. Now, I do want to reiterate as well. You are one man who does play a lot of unknown. Like I said,
you could say
a lot of survival people, and I do still think that they stack up not quite nicely. It'll be debated by you and me until time ends. Of course. I think it's one match. I don't want to say poor representation, because that's just not true, because he's dominated. It was, oh my god! Oh, that was just a no look at Dinky over the top. Good on you, man. No, I do think that maybe on this, it's good, and it's a bit of a shame too, because it's the only match the stream has actually seen as we do eat the end of the rock there. But the match before this, it did have a bit more less available. He did bring less, less add-on value, and it showed. You got a worse result. Yeah, he banged the Aju. I would still say it was played worse on the survivor side. I think if you took the survivors from the first match and put them up against this, I don't think the result would be as bad. I genuinely think that. But that's not what the game is. The game is team versus team, is it not? So it is hard. It is hard. Unknown, I will agree, is very unique to balance around, especially because a lot of people have mixed opinions. Some people, like I said, some people think he's shit. Some people think the bro's pretty strong. Not pretty strong, but at a decent enough level where he should be at least contesting for high enough gens. That was
beautiful crossbow.
I think that's that was almost beautiful. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
This guy's beautiful at unknown. That also is very, very like a thing that we should point out, Sir Smog. This guy obviously played the unknown. I say this guy, I should say Error. My apologies for that. Error has played the unknown quite a lot. You can tell, and I guess he just knows the powers of this and the strengths of this killer more than maybe even I.
Yeah, I mean, you said earlier that I play a lot of Unknown, and that is true, although watching these other Unknown players, I'm starting to realize that maybe I'm just fucking terrible at a killer that I play a lot. And maybe I'm just Unk, But, unfortunately not making that swing there. And, yeah, just doing a really good job of Unknown, and I think the reason a lot of people have this sort of, feeling about Unknown, thinking like, oh, he's too weak, he's too strong, is because to be good with Unknown, like, and get decent, not good, decent results, like okay results, you have to put so much time into him, because his power is such a blast to learn and get around, and you got to deal with people doing exactly what this ace has done and trying to, get in their head. He's a very difficult killer and one of the highest skill ceiling killers in the game, in my opinion. Before anyone crucifies me in the chat, I'm sure, like, this killer is like top 5 highest skill ceilings in the entire game. He's incredibly hard to learn. He's incredibly unforgiving as well. You miss a UVX after getting an infection, well, GG, bro, you're gonna have to reinfect that survivor and try again. And it's very unforgiving, which is why I think a lot of people, he gets the nickname the Harmless from, because, if you're not really on point, he's completely unforgiving, and he feels harmless against really good survivors, like in the Synergy versus Zetsubo game. I was just off my game playing like abysmal dog shit, and I made him look harmless because I was just missing every UVX playing like absolute shit. And I got, what, 1 hook, maybe? And yeah, you just, like, if you're not on point and you're against really good survivors, you have to play perfectly to get an okay result. A lot of killers you can't really say that about. You can play okay and get an okay result. Unknown, you're going to play perfectly to get an okay result against really good survivors. But we do get the tag onto Steve there as we do chase him down here, and honestly, I don't even think we need a slug here for that shack, because we've only got one, maybe another gen popping in the background, and even if this ace does get hatch or a door, we've still got our 11 stage 1 concept. We can kind of just commit to Steve here, run back into the Unknown to dodge the UVX. Fantastic show of counterplay there. Backing the window doesn't really work out for him, as he does get the lunge, which is fantastic to see as he rotates back down towards the side of the map here. We're taking a TP down to try and cut him up, but unfortunately, Steve has gone through the left side. We tried for a cheeky little overhead UVX infection that doesn't quite work out, but we do get the down there, as he doesn't have any resources to work with, only a dinky little window. And oh yeah, we're just going for the peak, probably just hook him towards mid-map and then close the hatch and play around that a little bit. But okay, he still had pain res, which is unfortunate for Ace, as he desperately wants to get this last gen done for some points, I think. But very dominant performance from Error, and just showing that he's really competent at Unknown, and he's put a lot of practice in, and that's great to see.
Yeah, he looked so good on the Unknown again, and I do want to reiterate, he's a very, very good to debate things with this. I like his 50 bullet. He's all very knowledgeable, and yeah, I mean, Unknown is a pretty I would say, what? No, that just kind of sums up the rest of like the whole entirety of this game, Loki. Phantom Step. That was a bit awkward. But yeah, I still think, that was a bit of, again, I don't know if I came up with a so fast one, but it was definitely a bit of a inaccurate representation, I do believe. But it's still just really well played from the killer.
Yeah.
He hit every single shot, he didn't miss a single shot.
Yeah, he was nailing them, and for those of you that are wondering maybe what the previous kills build, it was a more traditional Div 1 balancing build. He had Pain Res, he had Wretched Fate, which is really interesting, Corrupt, and then another perk, I think it was Eruption.
Ruin.
It was Ruin, sorry. And he lost Ruin really early on. He had to bail out of his initial chase because he was chasing Obsession and he wanted Wretched Fate value, and the Obsession was being chased around Ruin. It was a bit of a nightmare start for the Unknown, that even if he did have the Eerie add-on, I don't think it would have helped him. And then his add-ons were the Obscure Game cartridge, which we saw in both games, and he also had the Footprint cast, which it just means you get your hallucination faster when you do get infections. It's a very stock standard add-on you probably see in comp a lot of the time. You'll see that Footprint cast, and maybe the newspaper instead if they want to get power break or something, and usually Obscure Game cartridge as well in Div 1 comp. But exceptional 4K4 result from Error. The win will go towards Ancestor. They're beating out Phantom Step. And it was looking real close, but Error showed up and he put his big balls on the table and said, look at my big balls, and got a 4K4, so good on him. And yeah, Phantom Step survivors also did really well, They recovered from a lot of sticky situations in their matchup. What was it, 8 stages? I was talking about 11 stages. He got 8 stage, 3 fresh. I think I was talking about it wrong the entire time. And yeah, really good result there. Ancestor Survive's got a really good result. Phantom Step also got a really good result on their unknown play because eight stages 3 fresh is pretty good for unknown and Reckless Yard, all things considered. But incredible matchup so far. And next up is Lich on Grim Pantry Charms.
Yeah, I'm super keen to watch that with you, baby boy. But we'll take a little brief, short intermission, and then we'll come back with our Lumora versus Awake from Hell match. Please stay with us. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our second match of the beautiful evening we have on Saturday, January 3rd. Beautiful, actually. I love that it's a Saturday. We did just see an unknown set between Ancestor and Phantom Step. Ancestor were able to take that out pretty comfortably. Their killer put on a bit of a show, to be completely honest. But now we come to the Lich Surse Monk. And honestly, I am very excited because I have been scrimming awake from how on my Lich, I've been learning the Lich, and personally, I do enjoy the killer. And I've gotten it's a newfound love. My old found love was Singularity, and now it's the Lich, bro. I don't usually branch out, but I love this killer so much. But yeah, again, another killer you are so prolific at. Please take us away. How do you start a Lich set?
He's a nice, comfy killer. Usually, I've only really ever played him in comp on Wreckers or DDS, and usually you send your ball one way, you fly another way, and you deviate path if the ball finds someone. But the ball's found no one here, so we unfortunately aren't able to locate anyone, and we do find Tap a little bit out of position here. Not using our mage channel, the path doesn't matter anyway. We're just going to be swinging straight through, getting a free tag there, which is great to see. Looking at the build, we have a more traditional build here. Pop Eruption, Pain is Corrupt, with the Boots of Speed and the Ring of Power, so we're going to have a reduced cooldown, and I think, fuck, what does Boots of Speed do? I think it's when you lift Mage Hand. I forget what it does, but we're getting the tag there. Unfortunately, no bounce landing coming through there on the docks, and that's a very early down now. A critical mistake, I think, has been made here with the tap, where we're playing on Grim Pantry. This is a map that I don't think we've ever seen in OC comp, right? And it's used in a lot of different regions on Lich for the sake of the skulls being on different elevations, which allows him to get some easier shots with his skulls, making him a bit more deadly. But we've made the core error of dying on the shack side of the map. Everyone needs to die at main, because if you die at main, he can only hook you on like one gen, which is the main gen, which we do last, because who gives a shit about the main gen? And we have all these gens over here now that this Lich can kind of just proxy. Like, he can proxy now literally every single gen of the game because we've hooked that tap in the middle of them all, which is why I personally don't think Grim Pantry is a great map for comp. But we have Ace Tree lurking nearby for the save. We're probably waiting for the last minute to maybe get a pull. Maybe an FTP. We do have FTP in the play there. While let's just keep an eye on this generator here, we do get that pull. Then we're going to be flying back to the map, back to the unhook, I'm sorry. We should be able to locate Tap unless we've lost his scratches. But I think we do see his blood on the floor there, and we manage to see his little straw hat off there in the distance. And we haven't really seen any violent spells come out. I say violent, I mean like skulls or mage hand come out yet. But I'm keen to see how the Lich does here, Jarm. Sorry for waffling.
It's Lich, mate. Take it away. This is a killer, one of your killers, and. No, yeah, I mean, you made a little point. I just want to pull you up there. I'm not going to let you get away with that one. You didn't like Grim Pantry because...
Where's he going?
Pardon? Sorry?
No, don't worry about it.
Oh, you scared me. So you did make a point that you didn't like Grim Pantry because the gens are, I believe, very centralized. If you get him it's kind of just over. I think, I could agree with that. Beautiful use from dodge from the skulls there, and having to force the mage hand as well. Very, very strong killer. Lich, I would say he's a very strong killer. Yeah, the map is huge. That's no question about it. There's no doubt about it. Dying in an edge probably might be optimal, like we just saw there. It still gets hooked on a painless. I believe painless was used earlier anyway. But sending the ball down, he does have pretty centralized gens now that we're actually looking at them in person, which is not something we've never seen before. Of course, there are maps that you do have to stack the mid gen out to ensure your safety in the end game, of course, or to ensure the best result possible. But I would like to see like you said at the start of the game, I would like to see chasers starting to go main now, because once the skulls missed on main, it is probably some of the most boring catch up chase you can play. And if 15-second BT, you're hooked in front of it, lad. You better bloody send it. This is going to be just a direct trade. Would be probably in his best interest to take this paint rose, maybe? No, he doesn't want to take it. Doesn't want it at all. Probably, I would say maybe that's a bit of a bad decision. Unable to get the block there, Smunk, as well. So hopefully we have to last. We still have to last, though, if you're the detective tap here.
You do need to last. We just ran out of BT, but we're just going to be dying corner instead. We didn't use any resources, though. Like, I think this is a huge misplay from the tap here. We haven't used any good resources. Like, when we got that first tag of blocks, we should have hauled it down straight to main, maybe, or at least near main, so we could try and connect our our one once we got unhooked, we could just go straight to main. I keep saying the word main, it's starting to feel not like a real word, but I think it's just a lot of problems in the survivor end. But despite Tap not really living the best life he could have lived, we're still 3 gens done. Admittedly, the gens are pretty close together because, again, Grim Pantry, you sort of suffer from all the gens being sort of very pushed up on one side of the map, which is unfortunate, but we're doing a pretty good job of stealthing. I think only this is the first orb I think we've actually seen catch someone out here, and it is our injured AC Yazar, and they are going up somewhere with a little bit of elevation, so we might see a skull bear tag there, and we do see the down, so we've got to pay attention when we send out the skulls. We've got to sidestep them when they come out, try and find that one of those little gaps, but we also see some fantastic value out of Eruption here, seeing where the survivors are being split up, as well as a pain res right next to Shake. Again, we're injured working deep into docks and not getting reset and running and dying main. Just, very questionable positioning, I think, from the survivors here, and the Lich is capitalizing on it greatly, as now we can kind of just float around the hook here, you know, go kick some gens, apply some Eruption pop, and just, you know, have a merry good time. And I do remember now that the boots of speed is when you use Mage Hand, you do get that haste. And playing Mage Hand against survivors that are aware of the counterplay, that spell may as well not exist. But we do, unfortunately, thread the needle there on both of our skulls, so we're not able to get anyone here. We're opting to go for the fresh hook here. We don't have Mage Hand. We do have Mage Hand. We're able to get it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to throw that part in time there, getting a free tag onto Claudette, which is great. But she's not running to main. She's running into the active gens. Claude, please, you can't be dying here, but we do have some resources. Unfortunately, that will be a medium. Vector doesn't have any threatening spells, thankfully, for the Claude, so she is able to just sort of play around and M1 kill her for a little bit, not using the power, instead just opting to go die corner, and we're leaving for some reason. I don't agree with this play. I think we should have just committed to the down onto Claude and then gotten our pain res, but maybe we've realized that Steve is going to be getting a gen here, which is pretty high prog. This is our Docs generator, which is decently progressed, and we will be able to interrupt it again, maybe get an Eruption tag here while A-String and Claudette reset towards the Butcher's Shop side of the map. Our Lich might be able to find maybe the reset happening, or potentially try and get some aggravate chase onto Steve. We do see Steve rotating back into the docks, and Steve's got the right idea. He's seen that, the Lich has come for me. I'm going to run all the way over here, take a tag, go to main, have a grand old time, and A-String and Claude can get a reset and maybe some gens done. I don't think that's... Oh, a nice little skeleton tag here. He's going to use that speed to go somewhere, but no, he's running into the active. He's trying to use this part to the best of his advantage. Pre-throw mode is the play you want to be doing here, but wait to see if the Lich knows how to play around his Mage Hand with the drop power, but no, we're going to be trying to jiggy away from the power. I don't think it's going to work in our favor, and we're dying next to another active Gen Jams.
So much to decipher in the past minute and a half. So up until probably when he left that chase, I think Phoenix had played perfect. I would like him to see take time a little bit more. Spend some time looking around. He actually did spend some time looking around. I think it was down, I don't know, comes from this map, but if main's 12, like down the 5 side, and he actually did find somebody. Oh no, it was down the 7 side. Sorry, he did find the Steve, I believe. Decided to chase the Steve, gave the other 2 a chance to reset. Would have liked to see him pick, just commit the down on deeps on the Claude. Grab your pain res, grab your pop, son. Again, he's not made a bad decision, I would say. I think leaving that is not the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah, he's playing pretty good up until this point, I would say. I would say that was a bit of a blunder, maybe on his behalf, but no, he's still playing really exceptional. Using the abilities really, really well. He obviously has studied the killer to a certain degree. And oh my god, we're running not to the main building. No, it is very frustrating to see, because main building is probably the strongest utilization on this map that you can get. And yeah, I don't know, it's not, we're running to the small hut. Yeah, again, in the gens, like you can see the gens in the point of view. The 4 gens are just sort of in a bit of a square here, and that's probably the first time I've seen Phoenix miss a set of crows there. But all in all, we still have pressure. We still have gen pressure. It's a very bizarre game, this one. You know, we're dying, you know, down all the way as far edge as we can on that. I believe it's like the 8 side around there, and I believe we're on 2 separate gens, First Monk, if I'm not smoking.
We are.
Yeah, we are, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bizarre one. No, nothing comes to mind here other than that. Hooking on an active though, which is again quite bizarre again. I'll be completely honest. I don't know how we keep managing to do this. Main, deep 12, corner, anything, just in some corner, and you can't get that hook. But now he's going to be able to pressure both these gens. I think Phoenix is suspecting an early pull here. Good heads-up play from him, actually. I do respect the vision from him there. This Asteria is probably going to have to give up a tag, unfortunately, just for the pull to even come through. Unless we can get the pull now, unless Phoenix might have this on his menu to chase. No, he wants to leave and go for the Steve, and
we touched a gen.
He touched a gen, bro.
Skeletons.
Calm down. Yeah, okay, so if he misses the skeletons here, it is over. Okay, so this is going to be a really bad chase. It's going to be a very, very bad chase for Phoenix now, so it's Monk. Yeah, and life, yeah.
Yeah, so we got Lithe, we missed the skulls in the main building, so now we kind of just got to leave. Like, this is why all the chases earlier should have been taken here, because, like, he has to leave now, and now he has to chase a healthy survivor, and we're just going to be able to pre-drop a strong power, maybe go up to Shaq. Shaq, I think, is still up, by the way, so we have options to use here. We do pop this gen in the Lich's face, which will result in a tag. Ideally, at this point in the time, we might want to rotate back to this active generator. Just commit to her down onto Claude because she's worth the most, and maybe just getting a hook sort of in an awkward corner somewhere where it makes it unsafe for her to run with the endgame BT. Now keep in mind, endgame BT isn't 15 seconds, it's 10, so you might be able to get the down before, you know, we go somewhere. And also if you start charging your fly, you do lose collision when you're holding fly spells, so you'll be able to sort of worm your way around someone taking a hit if you're lucky. We do see someone up here lurking about. I think this is Aestri, and I think we finally figured out the main building source. No, this is Steve, who's on Deathhook. This is the survivor worth the least, but it'll also proc Eruption, and we're using paths. We're starting to lock in here towards the end of the game. I would have liked to see more of this earlier, but that's okay. We still have skulls available to us, unfortunately. I think that is going to catch him on the wind of Eruption coming through onto the gen Claude and Aestri are working on. I don't know if we're going to be able to... We might just be able to interrupt this entitlement. If we do, we need to commit to a chase onto Claudette because, again, she's worth the most. And we're going to be hooking right next to them. They might even be able to pop the gen and maybe take a couple hits. No, a couple hits. We do find the death onto Steve here. I do wonder if maybe we're going to go for the slug onto Aestri, then commit to Claudette to try and secure a cheeky little 4K0, and that's exactly what's going to be happening here. We have our mage hand available to us. Are we going to let her pre-thread that part? But no, we're going to be getting on the door immediately. The Aestri playing around to the best of her ability, not even needing to use mage hand. We didn't even get to use the power. That's such a shame. And we're going to be flying up to Shack. We know that Claudette will be trying to work this door, but she's successfully stealthed around the other side of the Shack. If we have our Dispelling Sphere available to us, we might be able to find it if we're lucky. And we do send it out, but I think Lich hasn't seen it. That's such unfortunate. Just around the rock, we would have been able to see Claudette, and that would have been amazing. But no, she just eludes us barely. And maybe we're concerned she's working the main building door, but no, we're just looking around the pallet. Claw's trying to sneak on a Jed. We've surely heard the comm from Aestri that no, get off the door. He's coming back to Shack, bugger off, just hide. Maybe wait for me to bleed out and get the hatch off of that. But very interesting, tumultuous game, Jams.
She's not gonna pick. She needs to sort of make a crossway down to main here because this hatch play gate is just not gonna work for the bleed out. She needs to go 12. He's used dispelling or dispelling spear, dispelling, whatever. Dispelling. But yeah, I don't know. The fact that this is gonna be a potential 4K0, I think Phoenix would be pretty happy with that. We are opting to play for like I think a pick here. Now Phoenix has to do his best here to not let the Asteria, again, my apologies, knock it out of his sight here. Because if he does and he gets up and he's able to have like a subpar chase and force locker, he does catch line of sight of him, which is very good. Yeah, if he's able to have a subpar chase, force locker, that will definitely be enough time for the Claudette to rotate, get on the gate, and potentially get out. If you're Phoenix here, you really want the Claudette. I would. It's sort of an awkward position because you could have in the back of your mind that she's rotating. He can sort of see both gates just from where he's sitting. I don't know if we noticed that up until this point, but he's sort of just in the middle. I think he can see the lights on that gate there. We do see Terry going very close. This is a very, very good play. The pick has come through now. We need to switch on Phoenix. Yes, we are going to go and just wait and look around. Yeah, like I said, Asteria, if he's just able to force lock, have a decent chase, it should be enough time for the Claudette to get on the gate and take that 9-stage 3 fresh result, which I would say, I think you would agree with me, so Smart. That's probably a good result for the survivors considering all things, and it will be a 9-stage 3 fresh regardless.
Well, we do miss the skulls onto Ace, so we do extend the chase, which is great. So this will be a 9-3, and yeah, that's a good result, I'd say. For both parties, it's a really solid result. We think maybe she's working the main door, but we will be incorrect. We'll be Shaq, and we're just going to be taking her out there. The fresh hook out the door, 9-3 result. I think a very comfortable result there for the survivors and the killer. Something that you could easily work around once we get to see Lumora survivors play. You know, beating that result on Grim, if we're able to play around main building to the best of our ability, very, very doable. You know, and as well as the killer side of things, if we're able to play aggressively, get those downs within the generators, maybe. I don't know if you've allowed agitation on Grim Pantry, but maybe we see an agitation come out and we're able to maybe actually from main to a more central position in the map and then apply pressure onto our generators. But that remains to be seen.
I mean, I think it's pretty funny that I think I do believe it is allowed on everything other than tier 1 killers. So, but that should definitely be that will definitely be an option that that Awake from Hell's killer does possess. That was Lumora's killer. Phoenix plays very well played. 9 stage 3 fresh. We will take a short brief intermission and then we'll come back with the final match of the last set tonight. Please stay with us. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to what will be our definitely will be our last set, our last match. A golden chase. Excuse me. Sorry, saying my throat. A golden chase has not been seen yet. Amongst Div 2. I'm so eager to see if we see one tonight. So, just for that, I would like to see Awake from Hell's Killer, which is Master Dylan, achieve a 9-stage 3 fresh. So we can see a golden chase. Please, it is my dream. Just one. If we go the whole of the division without seeing one, no, I will be egregiously upset, Sir Small.
Is the Golden Chase Trapper or is it of the set that's being played?
Opposite that's being played.
So we will see Golden Chase Grand Pantry Lich.
You heard it.
That's really funny, but I hope it happens too.
Overall, though, I don't think. I mean, you again, you would know a lot better than me, bro. 9-stage 3 fresh. I'd say that's a pretty decent result for the killer, all things considered. I think
It's
from
really
the
good.
position he was in, yeah, it's an amazing result. I think the position from that he was in, though, it could have definitely been a 4K at most points throughout the game. We talked about the one mistake he made. Obviously, it was leaving that chase. Take us through why I guess he didn't 4K in the end, bro.
Well, it was partly he made some pretty cool mistakes, I think, but he also, in addition, were against survivors that while they didn't really die in the right spots, their gen pressure was really good. Like they split gens at the right time. They were always on gens when they weren't doing stuff. Their gen pressure was generally really, really good. And towards the end there, they did clutch up a little bit. You know, Steve had a banger chase at main, caused him to drop, I think. And but also whether the Lich did get a hook, he got a hook in a really strong spot. But he didn't play aggressively after the hook. He didn't like try and get injuries or resources out of the way. He kind of just floated around the hook a little bit and then let them unhook and didn't really punish. I think only punished really one unhook that happened. I think that was a core mistake of what happened with Phoenix there, is he just didn't punish any of the unhooks when he did decide to just sort of proxy. He just had his back to the hook and then floated around it like a shark. And he was trying to play around the anti-camp or something. But overall, looking at the Lich's build here, we have Rapid Brutality, which is a choice. You can pick this perk if you want. And we do find someone early on. This is Logic here, and he's doing the correct thing of running directly at the main building, which is the most optimal path. But we find some other lingering scratch marks here of Nia Carlson, who is probably going to be playing around this part. Here we go. Oh, the fat chain! This map is fucking dog shit! As we do get the power break there and rotate up towards main. And yeah, exactly. Like, as soon as we get the chase here, Lumora survivors are like flies to shit on main. They're running around. They're going to be using the parts for as long as humanly possible and just doing their best. So we get a head on there as well from Logic. This is what you want to see, and I think we're going to be seeing a bully squad. Yeah, this is a pub. We got Rapid Brutality Vector, and we got the bully squad head on, but Logic going to be taking the chase away from here, playing around the double windows to the best visibility. We've used our skulls, unfortunately missed the skulls, throwing that power. They're not getting a tag out the way, but Logic is in a bit of an unfortunate scenario where he's kind of just going to get tagged at this power. But Rapid Brutality coming in here now, you're going to want to use Fly after you get your Rapid Brutality because it stacks with Fly's movement speed. But we're not using Fly, we're just going to be walking after Logic and then using Fly after Rapid Brutality has expired, which is unfortunate for the Lich here, but we're going to be continuing the chase onto Logic, and he's in a bit of a poor position here, but we drop off main building here, rotating back around, probably back inside the main building, looking to die maybe around 11 or 1, but he does have an opening towards main building here. He's going to try to utilize the best visibility. He has a part he can use, but with some well-placed and well-timed skulls, might get the down button. No, he's jigging away from the power, going towards this window here, and this should be an M1 down here, and that was a fantastic first chase here. No gens popping yet, but we're triple splitting 3 high progress gens jumps. This is what you want to see.
And his big return as well, the big FN, he's come back, big Logic, Beamer, all the bends. I think he was choosing main in that instance though. Really, really well played. Just honestly, you know, just yeah, like you said, 3 splitting gens as well. They backed in his good chase. He left for after the head on and swapped his, I guess his target, you could say. Nah, I mean, it's time for Master Dylan to, you know, to split up a little bit. I know he's been putting some work in with Sabraro, and, you know, it's time to put your money where your mouth is, big fella, and we know you've got a lot of it.
But, yeah, we're getting our eruptions here on some high progress gens, but, I don't know. We did manage to get that hook at a pretty decent spot. We didn't, like, have to hook behind main or anything, which is good to see. And we were also able to get it onto a pain res, and we're playing very campy. We're still near some gens, which is great to see. You know, high prog gen, I think we're just going to go in for a pull at some stage. We're working main right now, which is interesting. Maybe just try to pop it so there's nothing he can sort of like, you know, work with on the side of the map. We match giant near like the exit gate edge 12 or something. We see the gen by Shaq popping, so we get 2 gens down. We have Logic cooking on the hook here. Someone's going to have to come in for a trade. Nia's trying to bait chase a while Quentin rotates in for a pull. We might just see a double save here, trying not to get any trades coming in, but we've got to kind of hurry up here. We've got about 15 seconds left on the timer before we go to second stage for Logic FN. But no, we're just holding the skulls, which is exactly what you want to do here. You want to try and hold the skulls on the hook there so you get the skull tags, but Logic does go second stage. We let that happen, really. No double save here coming through from Quentin or Nia. We made the mistake of just letting him go second, which I think is going to be a big chip on their shoulder, I suppose. But using that power to the best of our ability, we don't get to stun, but we do manage to avoid the M1 there. Quentin kind of just been floating around that hook, not really getting any gen progress, which is a shame to see. Ideally, we kind of get the pull now, maybe, and let Logic go have a play at main, but no, we're just back on a low progress gen. Maybe Nancy's going to rotate in after she popped this gen, which is the more sensible play. You get the pull onto Logic, who's on the hook, then he goes back to main, plays around, maybe we take a hit. Ideally, maybe a double save so we don't have to trade, but we do pop the gen over at main there. We do get the sneaky little unhook there, but no, we hit Logic on the hook. No BT being taken just yet. He's got 15 seconds to work with. He can grind all the way to the shack for free, but we do have a mage hand on deck. We might need a hit tank here because I don't think he's really thinking very well, but no, we're using Fly again for some unknown reason that I can't quite fathom. But that's okay because we get Shaq powered out the way, and now we just have Logic trying to play around a powerless Shaq. Maybe his teammates can come take him a hit and get it back down towards main, but no, we see another gen towards the middle of the map being popped there, and out of the gens left here, there isn't a lot to work with. All things considered, we get to pull the mage hand out there, and unfortunately Logic not quite paying attention, going to be going down there. Do we see a power save for Nia? No, we're going to be doubling the gen with Quentin, and this should be the final gen pop before he's able to check this gen, I think, Jarms. I'm not too sure though.
It'll be tight as you know what. If it's pain res coming through, it's not, but it just doesn't matter. Even if it is, they should still pop. No, you are right. And that is really, really impressive stuff from Lumora there. That is really good efficiency. Just let the bro sit for the entirety of the game and then pulled him at a really good instance. And the skulls being missed from Dylan though, that was that just. I don't want to be brutal, but I would say that's what lost him the game in that moment. Yeah, making Shaq as well. That was it just so much series of events that just didn't go well. And that's going to be 3 stages, I believe. So it's probably 6, obviously 6-2, but that's still a win for Lumora. OC's last hope, if you will.
Yeah, 6-2 for Lumora, fantastic result for them. Unfortunately, Nia not quite able to make it to the door. Also would have been a 3-stage, but we take those W's, and we're not mooring her. We're just going to chuck her on a hook. But yeah, I think maybe some mistakes at the build. We're running gloves instead of the boots, which do give us a speed boost when we cast our mage hand, so we're able to catch up after using that spell. And also we're running rapid brutality, which is just a dead perk because it doesn't do anything in comp, because you're not getting M1 tags often enough in a comp setting to make any value out of it. It's pretty good on a set like Doctor, because if you're taking the protection hits and force penance as banned, you can use the rapid brutality speed to catch up to the person who was who took the hit, right? And you get a lot of hit takes, a lot of M1s from Doctor. So you can see some value from Doctor, from rapid brutality on Doctor, for example, but I think it's just such a big miss on Lich. In pubs, it's pretty good. You can do some funny things with it, with like Fear of Chase, rapid brutality and stuff, where you can stack the haste benefits with your fly spell, because it does work with your fly movement speed. But I just don't think it was the play in comp. I think maybe if we ran a deadlock or something, it would have helped us way more with what we were planning on doing on the Lich. But yeah, I think this was a good showcase of how Grim Pantry is a big thorn if you're the Lich, and it's very much a map that does not work in his favor. It works in his favor for skull usage, like we saw a lot of skull damage that you wouldn't see on any other map, but it also harmed him in so many ways because you just can't, you just run around main. You just go for a run around main, and Lich can't do fucking anything about it because Mage Hand isn't a real spell. Because we didn't see it happen, but if you don't know, if you pre-drop a pallet and the Lich tries to do a little cheeky Mage Hand where he lifts up the pallet and runs through it and gets an M1, you can just run into the pallet yourself, body block him, spam spacebar, and by the time he recovers, you can just drop it on his fat head and the spell doesn't do anything other than stun him. So it's basically just a dead spell in comp if you know what you're doing. I think it's abysmal, but you're essentially just skull Andy every 30 seconds or so. But yeah, interesting games tonight, James.
Yeah, they were amazing to watch. Couldn't have picked a better bloke to cast these 2 particular sets with me, Sir Smog, so I thank you for that. Chat, we got it right, 50-50. I think Sir Smog liked Unknown for Killer, but not Lich, so 50-50. We'll take it. We'll take it. But no, thank you, big fella, for that. Like I said, trying to get to 500 subs on the YouTube. So like and sub if you're not sub. I will do a giveaway at 500. Other than that, I love everybody. Shout out to Hunter. Shout out to Gohan, FJ, show Smunk, Broken. Everyone who puts in the hard, Yaka, Little Chief as well. Burrito, Bravo, all yous, everybody. If I missed your name, I'm sorry. Love yous all. Well played to Lumora and Ancestors. We'll see you back on Tuesday, I believe. So no games tomorrow, no games Monday. So Tuesday we'll be back. So we'll see you then. Much love and peace. Be safe.